Welcome everyone to the 2015 Central Basketball Association postseason championship game between the number 2 seed Bowling Green Hornets, coming in with a 7-3 record, taking on the number 4 seeded Fort Wayne Flight with a 6-4 overall record. We are at the McMillan Center in Fort Wayne, Indiana. This is Mack Park, the site of today's championship game. It was just a night ago when Bowling Green defeated number 6 seed Middle Tennessee 97-78. To make it to today's championship game, Fort Wayne defeated number 1 seed Chattanooga 85-80 in an outstanding game. That was just the second loss all season long for the Rail Runners, as the Flight came out early, got a big lead, and held on to win it, knocking off the number 1 seeded Rail Runners in a big upset. The last time these two teams met, it was probably the most exciting regular season game that we'd seen all season long in the CBA. That was back on May the 2nd of this year in Russellville, Kentucky. Bowling Green defeated Fort Wayne 91-90. Marquise Rudolph led the Hornets with 25 points, while Big James Humphrey led Fort Wayne with 19 points. Bowling Green led at the half in that game 49-39, but it went down to the wire. My name is Jeff Mahoney, bringing you the play-by-play today. Tim Atkinson's here, bringing you the color commentary, and Jake Atkinson's on the camera. Tim, it was an outstanding semifinal round yesterday here at Mack Park, and Kalen Kimberlin came out strong for the Hornets, guiding them to a victory. Antonio Cannon came out hard for the Flight, guiding them to a victory. What do you see as the keys to success for each team coming into today's matchup?
Yeah, Jeff, after talking to Coach Thompson and Coach Wilmot, definitely for Bowling Green, Coach Thompson's extremely worried about the bigs for the Flight and keeping them off the glass and limiting the second chance opportunities. Now for the Flight, they're going to have to keep a hand in the face, and the team defense, that's what gotten them here, being the number 1 team defensive team in the league. What got them here to this championship round is what has got to keep going. With all this talent here on the Bowling Green roster, including Clemens and Kimberlin, as you mentioned, hitting the first 14 points of the game yesterday for Bowling Green. The extremely high power team for Bowling Green. And the team defensive rotation is going to be extremely huge for Coach Wilmot and the Flight, Jeff.
Tim, Kalen Kimberlin absolutely did come out on fire for the Bowling Green Hornets yesterday. He scored 30 points and had 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. Those are unofficial stats, but we will have those stats up shortly at www.playcba.com. Terrace Clemens, who was the league's leading scorer in the regular season, and it's a pretty neat matchup because a year ago in 2014, Antonio Cannon with the Fort Wayne Flight, he was the league's leading scorer, but Terrace Clemens in that game finished with 11 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. So Terrace didn't have a huge impact for Bowling Green in that game, but the Hornets still dominated, routing the Middle Tennessee Storm. Looking at the Fort Wayne Flight, Antonio Cannon led all scorers with 24 points. Tim, we've seen it game in and game out with that young man. He can take charge of a game with his athleticism and his ability to drive and get and finish at the cup and also get to the free throw line. But how about James Humphrey, a first-team All-CBA player with a double-double, 21 points and 10 rebounds, while his cohort in Antonio Wilson finished with 8 points, 11 rebounds.
Yeah, Watson, the big guy for Bowling Green, can't guard both bigs for the Flight. So one of them is going to be open. It'll be interesting to see who Coach Wilmot chooses to put on Clemens. Obviously, he's probably going to put Lytle on Kimberlin to keep Cannon's legs as fresh as possible. But watch out for Cannon's shot. If it's going in early tonight, it could be a huge game for the former MVP.
Yeah, Bowling Green playing without their big man, Torres Hampton, who was the regular season rebounding champion, co-rebounding champion with Ryan Stottle from Peoria. So Bowling Green's playing without their big Torres Hampton, and they're going to have to rely on Eric Orr, a 28-year-old forward from Trevecca Nazarene University. He goes 6'6", 235. He and Chris Watson, a 25-year-old at 6'8", 230 from the University of Pikeville, really are going to have to get it done for the Hornets down on the block, taking on these bigs. Antonio Wilson along with James Humphrey, Herbert Terry off the bench, Dennis Williams. Should be a very, very, very fun game and interesting matchups on the court.
Yeah, I can't wait. Been waiting since last night. This is a great matchup right here at Mack Park. Both teams raring to go. Bowling Green with their usual 7 on the roster, so it'll be interesting to see. Foul troubles are obviously going to be key, Jeff.
Well, let's send it down to our PA announcer, Michael Mortensen, for the starting lineups in today's national anthem.
Let's honor America first by the playing of the Black National Anthem and then the Star Spangled Banner.
There we have it, folks. Starting lineups for today's championship game. Kalen Kimberlin of the Bowling Green Hornets. He's led Bowling Green in the postseason, averaging 26 points per game, while Antonio Cannon has led Fort Wayne, averaging 23.5 points per game here in the playoffs. Antonio Wilson has been the leading rebounder at 15 rebounds per game, while Chris Watson leads Bowling Green, averaging 9 rebounds per game. Watson's going to be very busy in this one, taking on the two bigs, James Humphrey and Antonio Wilson of Fort Wayne. Watson was absolutely spectacular in the win against Middle Tennessee. He is a highlight machine, along with teammate Terrace Clemens. Very exciting game getting ready to take off here, Tim.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Watson couldn't be coming off a better performance as of last night in the semifinal round, just dominating in blocks. I think he had 4 blocks last night, Jeff, almost a double-double. So very outstanding players coming off. He's feeling extremely confident right now. So it'll be huge to see. This first 5 minutes is going to show a lot on what's going to happen here this evening.
Watson with 10 points and 9 rebounds in yesterday's contest, Tim. And to be honest with you, Bowling Green really had that game wrapped up at the start of the fourth quarter, to where the final 5 minutes of that game became a little bit of keep away.
Yeah, and also we can't forget that Terrace Clemens was a late arrival, so he didn't even play the first 5 minutes and never really got into the rotation as much as he normally is. So all that was done last night without the leading scorer of the league, Terrace Clemens.
It's going to be neat to see these matchups here. Reggie Lytle, obviously, best defender here for the Flight. And if he matches up with Kalen Kimberlin, that'll put Antonio Cannon on Marquise Rudolph.
Yeah, I think, Jeff, I would start, if I was Wilmot, I'd have Wads on Clemens and see where it goes from there. Have Cannon guard Rudolph. Keep him away from guarding Kimberlin all 40 minutes.
And it looks like Wadner Joseph is matching up with number 3, Terrace Clemens.
Yeah, that's a good matchup, but I think really our only main matchup, or the Flight's main matchup that they can do against Clemens.
That's Antonio Wilson, Big T Wilson, number 12, and number 11 for Bowling Green, Chris Watson, as we're set to tip off. Possession going to go to Reggie Lytle, and the fly as Lytle goes off the glass. Watson with the board, so Tim already, Chris Watson with his first rebound.
Yeah, he attacks the glass like no other, especially when he's as confident as he is right now. He can feel like he can grab a board over anyone.
So it looks like Wadner Joseph's got the defense on Clemens, and that's Antonio Cannon on Kalen Kimberlin. Pass goes over to Deantra Scott. Watson now driving from the wing, a little hard off the glass. Terrace Clemens looked like he had the board there. Wadner Joseph with the block on Deantra
Jeff,
Scott.
that should be a shot clock violation. It never hit the rim on that. That's going to be a turnover here to the Flight.
So just 36 seconds into this game here, first turnover.
And that was team defense. They came over for the help on the driving Watson. Clemens was left on the side, but the backcourt for the Flight are not watching. They're down here and they're helping battle on the boards because that's what they're going to need to do.
It's like we say, Tim, even though the ball or your defender does not have the ball, you're always staying busy.
Absolutely.
Antonio Cannon gets Wadner Joseph down on the block is Humphrey. Humphrey triple teamed at the moment there, and we're going to have a pushing foul called on Terrace Clemens.
And Jeff, to me, that's only Clemens' flaw with his game. Is sometimes he gets a little bit aggressive with his hands on defense, and that gets him in foul trouble, which obviously Coach Thompson can't have him sitting on the bench today in the championship game.
And you just saw the coach say, do more of an arm bar there and stop using your hands, the palms on the back.
They've been taught that for a long time. That's nothing new for Clemens. He just got caught up in the moment.
Handoff goes to Reggie Lytle as Marquise Rudolph is back on his feet. Three-point attempt by Humphrey. Rebounded by Rudolph. Marquise Rudolph now going to take it straight to the cup. Lob is no good. Rebounded by Humphrey. Antonio Cannon now came out on fire yesterday. Tim, we'll see how today's game goes. Humphrey looked at the three-pointer for a second. Opt to give it back up to Cannon. Cannon working off the pick and roll. Left Humphrey all alone, but Watson was there. They're going to call a foul on number 11, but once again, at the right place at the right time was Chris Watson helping out his teammates.
Okay, Jeff, first minute and 20 of the game. Their two bigs have a foul apiece, Watson and Clemens. So, as we mentioned in the opener, it's going to be huge to play defense with your feet, not your hands here for Bowling Green.
And that's definitely been the storyline with this team all season long, as Coach Thompson has had to play with a skinny roster. Beginning of the year, they started off with pretty much a full roster, but been playing with 6 to 7 players here, probably throughout the second half of the season, as Humphrey misses his first free throw. We are still scoreless a minute and a half into this game.
Yeah, Coach Thompson, gave us a little quip yesterday there on the interview after the games, asked him what the difference was, and he said, well, we got 7 players instead of 6 on the roster. So Coach Thompson knows what he's working with. Outstanding young coach in his second year with the CBA at 12-9.
No doubt about it, Tim. And this is actually the second championship game that Coach Thompson has coached in, as he was an interim head coach with St. Louis when they won the championship back in the 2013 season. So he's no stranger to this tough competition. Terrace Clemens receives the feed, top of the key. Wagner Joseph with the defense. Joseph doing a great job of just walling them off there. That pass was intercepted by Reggie Lytle. Turnover goes to Watson. A beautiful feed to Antonio Cannon. Reverse lay-ins, no good, but Joseph's there. Putback attempts, no good. And jump ball. Joseph doing a good job of keeping it away from Deantra Scott. Kalen Kimberlin comes up with the steal, and on the other end, cannot finish, rebounded by Watson. So a lot of nerves early on in this game, Tim, to be expected pretty much all season long. You've seen it in the early goings of the first quarter, but here in the championship game, something else.
There's no question about it. The intensity is huge. That was what the strength for the Flight last night coming out against the Chattanooga team, where they needed their whole team in it, and they were definitely that way from the jump.
So we are scoreless still now, 2 minutes into this game as we just hit the 8-minute mark in the first quarter. Cannon over to Lytle. Marquise Rudolph with the defense. Marquise Rudolph has definitely proven he can be a leading scorer for the Bowling Green Hornets as he gets the steal, converts on the other end, and will head to the bucket or the free throw line looking for the and one. What a play by Marquise Rudolph.
Yeah, Reggie Lytle just got the ball out in front of him a little bit. Rudolph with a heads-up play, knocking it away, taking it to the other end for a bucket and a chance to get a 3-point play here.
So the first 2 points of the game goes to Bowling Green and their guard, Marquise Rudolph. Rudolph on the season averaging 16 points per game, completes the 3-point play. Tim, he shot 44% from the field during the regular season as well.
Yeah, he's a scorer. He can pull up from about 10 to 15 with ease, and he strokes that very beautifully.
Tim, you need a player like that, a guard like that that's so quick and so athletic when you have such great point guards in the CBA.
No question, Jeff.
Antonio Cannon being guarded by Kalen Kimberlin.
Nice move.
Wow. Nice fake as they left plenty of room for him to get that shot off. Antonio Wilson with the heads-up plays. He was falling out of bounds. Tim threw it off his defender.
Yeah, and just to mention with the FIBA rules here, a player cannot call timeout. So anything stuck on the sidelines in a double team, falling out of bounds, a player cannot call timeout, or that will be a technical foul.
And we actually saw that yesterday where Cannon was looking for some help from his teammates. So beautiful floater baseline by Reggie Lytle. Gets Flight on the board, down by 1, 3-2.
And the Flight want to keep this low scoring. Obviously, they want to score the ball, but they want to keep this low scoring. The less points in this game, the better chance they have of winning it.
That's right, Tim. This is the league's best defense versus the league's best offense, as Terrace Clemens' fadeaway is no good. Now Kimberlin's fadeaway hits nothing but the side of the backboard. 6:55 left to play here in the first. Lytle working off the pick set by Antonio Wilson. Jumpers and air ball as Wagner Joseph's attempt. Good attempt, good hustle, but possession's going to Bowling Green.
Glad we had that third grader down there to stop Wagner Joseph's fall, because that could have been dangerous for Watts.
Good body control by number 9, no doubt about it. So Rudolph now over the timeline. Kicks it back. Chris Watson driving a beautiful drive in the lane by Chris Watson. Tim, just making it look so smooth for the big man.
Yeah, I'm very impressed this weekend with his dribble drives. It's been very under control. He's done it at the right time, hasn't forced it. Been real impressed with Chris Watson's play over this postseason run.
So Cannon working off the pick set by Humphrey. That's a one-on-one game that we've seen so often, as the three-pointer is good by Reggie Lytle, and that'll tie this game up at 5.
Good sign and yet a bad sign. Lytle with 5 points, but I think he has a majority of the shots here. So we need to get some more variety here for the Flight.
Terrace Clemens with the kick out to Deantra Scott. Front rims right to Antonio Cannon. Now Coach Wilmot telling his team to get on their horse. Let's run. Feed goes down to James
Good
Humphrey.
no call.
Drives
Good no
right
call.
through Terrace Clemens for the bucket, Tim. What a move by James Humphrey.
Yeah, that's a good no call by the referee, not letting Clemens deke him into that charge. He was already falling down as Humphrey went into his move. Good no call and good bucket by Humphrey.
Now it's Clemens' turn here, matched up with Wadner Joseph. Clemens drives right past him, but going a little bit too hard off the glass, as that was a tough take working against big Wadner Joseph.
Yeah, Clemens will at times try to prove himself on the offensive end when he has something bad on the defensive end. Nice move by Cannon, but blocked by Watson.
Beautiful move there. Cannon had 3 players around him, but Chris Watson held his ground. And at 6'8", well, he's definitely got the height advantage.
And he's got the length. He's got the leaping ability as well. So, yeah, I mean, he's got an NBA body with NBA leaping ability. There's no question about that.
Demarius Smith checks into this game for Deantra Scott as the inbounds pass goes to Humphrey. Humphrey once again one-on-one with Clemens. There's help from Marquise Rudolph. And the bucket is good. Humphrey will head to the free throw line looking for the and one.
Yeah, I don't think last year Humphrey would have been able to finish through that contact with his endurance and how he's worked on his body over the offseason, finishing through contact like that. He can do that easily this year, not so much last year. So major improvement by James Humphrey.
Foul is called on Marquise Rudolph. And Tim, if there's one knock on Big James this year, it's his free throw shooting.
Yeah, just shooting at about, well, I'm looking at 57% on the season. You know, there's no reason with the way his stroke is. Look at the follow through and the gooseneck on the wrist follow through. It looks like it should go in more than it does.
So the Fly on an 8-0 run right now, lead at 10-5. Tim, we saw that yesterday. Big runs by both Chattanooga and the Fly, but the Fly had the extra.
Yeah, game is basketball's a game of runs. CBA is just it's more microscopic.
Kimberlin with the miss was rebounded by Wilson. Now it's Cannon one-on-one with Rudolph. They're working with Lytle.
Good pump fake.
James Humphrey now driving out of the corner. Tim, looks like that pass was intended for Wadner Joseph there, but it ends up going off Terrace Clemens' head.
Yeah, that interior passing, big to big, or just any interior passing, 99% of the time you want to drop the bounce pass. Players cannot get their hands low. They're not going to be dragging the ground. You get it up where their hands are on a chest pass, they're going to get their hands on it. Nice, but simple bounce pass will work most times. Inbounds
pass goes to Reggie Lytle. Cannon gets it back.
Nice look.
As it's knocked away by Chris Watson. Timmy, talk about that passing from big to big, and you know, as you go every single level higher in basketball, the court shrinks because the players are bigger, faster, stronger.
There's no question about it. I mean, guys can recover a lot quicker the higher levels you get up. So, you know, it is very important to know what you're doing before you even do it.
3 seconds on the shot clock, and big T. Wilson with the triple. Flight go up now 13-5.
That's just his third three-point attempt on the season, Jeff, hitting his first one there.
Absolutely fantastic. Baseline fadeaway jumper by Kimberlin's no good, but he gets his own board. Marquise Rudolph now kicks out Clemens for 3. Terrace Clemens knocks it down, Tim. He's got a beautiful stroke.
That's one guy you can't forget about on the perimeter. You know, you want to help defense, but that's one guy you cannot leave, because if he gets a couple going, he's going to feel real nice.
That's a huge three-pointer there as it ends an 11-0 run by the Fort Wayne Fly, who lead it 13-8 with 4 minutes left to play in the first.
Rudolph just got his second foul there, Jeff.
So Rudolph's going to head to the bench to take a breather, along with Terrace Clemens. Eric Orr into the game, back in as Deantra Scott as well. Lance Williams going to check in for Reggie Lytle, and Wadner Joseph's out of the game. Ronald Lucas in for him. Lance Williams, Tim, we've liked the play of his game all year long.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And last night he had an outstanding game, not only shooting the ball, but dribble drives as well. He had a great game last night.
So Deantra Scott comes out of the scrum there as Antonio Cannon could not connect. Scott's three-point attempt no good, rebounded by Ronald Lucas. Ronald Lucas, one of the Flight players who got that international experience last year playing in Australia. Three-pointer left rims out, rebounded by Demarius Smith. Smith being guarded by Lance Williams. Handoff goes to Deantra Scott. Floater in the lane, heels out. Watson with the rebound. Big Chris Watson, this time he's going to take it himself to the cup. Another 2 points for number 11.
Watson starting off right where he left off from last night, really dominating the paint right now for Bowling Green.
So now the Fly only up by 3, 13-10, 3:08 left here in the first quarter. James Humphrey, another three-point attempt. Left rims out, rebounded by Smith. Smith now looking to outlet up to Orr. Was intercepted by James Humphrey, so a great job by number 10 hustling back. Nice bounce pass by Ronald Lucas. Hump almost finished there with the dunk, Tim, over Chris Watson. Wow, I mean, that's a matchup right there.
That was twice now that Watson's been close to taking a charge like that. Now that put him at 2 fouls. Jeff, that's huge. If Watson's got to sit here, now it's up to Coach Thompson to make the decision. Just 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. I think you got to get Watson out of the game. Give him a breather. Rest him here until, God, I would even maybe go till 8 minutes in the second quarter or so. But that's Coach Thompson, what he gets paid for.
So James Humphrey, Tim, after missing his first 2 free throws, now is 2 of 4. He's hit his last 2 free throws. Watson in that situation, Tim, just keep your feet on the ground, hands straight up, and act like a board.
The way I look at that, he's a shot blocker. Go up, we got a little guy. Go shot block it. All right, go meet him at the cup. Don't stand there and try to take a charge like a little 5'10" guy. You know, go up there and try to protect the cup. That's why you're on this roster, is to protect the hole.
So now Watson is going to take a breather here as Dennis Williams is checked in for the Fort Wayne Flight. Williams is going to match up with Orr. Kimberlin out to Orr in the corner. Up to Kimberlin, back out to Scott. Deantra Scott being guarded out here on the perimeter by Big T, Antonio Wilson.
They're going to have to help here.
Clemens has
nice look.
Has another steal there by Lance Williams. Woo! Ronald Lucas, beautiful feed to Antonio Cannon, cannot connect. Tim, this place was about to go berserk.
Oh, it sure was.
Loose ball. Nice job by Deantra Scott getting over to Kimberlin, up to Terrace Clemens. We got a foul going to be called on Ronald Lucas. So it looked like Lucas there just got a little bit of the hand. Clemens going to head to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Yeah, and this is where you don't want Clemens at the free throw line getting the free points and getting the confidence level up. There's no doubt about that. But that was a nice little pass over the little and1 street ball there for Lucas, dropping it between the legs behind him to Cannon. Cannon just couldn't come up with the 3. But, yeah, the crowd was about to ignite on that one if that one would have went in.
Terrace Clemens shooting nearly 80% on the season from the free throw line. He's about 78%. Hits his first. Clemens, a great shooter all the way around.
Yeah, shoots about 40% from 3, 55% from 2. He's a very good player, very skilled, and is just scratching the surface on his potential.
So Clemens hits them both. That brings the score to 15-12. Fort Wayne on top as Antonio Cannon's going to leave the game, taking a breather. Zach Payton in for Antonio Cannon, the 2014 league MVP.
Coach Wilmot choosing to go with all subs here except Antonio Wilson.
As Payton, one-on-one with Orr. Feed looking for Dennis Williams, knocked away by Terrace Clemens. Smith over to Deantra Scott. Underneath, Tim, it's tough down there with big 6'11" Dennis Williams on your back.
Yeah, especially when he did what he's supposed to do. Keep your feet and keep your hands straight up.
Kalen Kimberlin had that ball stripped away by Zach Payton, but Orr was there with the putback. So now Bowling Green pulls to within 1, 15-14. Lucas, 14-footer, no good. Orr with the rebound. Orr is not happy.
He's got to be careful because the referees here will tee you up. They will tee you up. And that all came from down here at the other end, Jeff. Orr and Williams got caught up a little bit. Williams felt like Orr threw an elbow to the ground on him on there, so Williams was eyeing him all the way back down to the end of the court. Referee saw it the whole time, was waiting to blow it on one of the two. One of those two guys were getting a whistle called on that end of the court. There was no question about it. Just happened to be Orr.
And Tim, that's just the age-old rule of the guy who initiates it, it's always going to be called on the retaliator.
Yeah, there's no question about it. You got to keep your head, especially in a championship game like this with a limited roster for Bowling Green. You definitely got to keep your head about you.
We got a championship game type crowd here at Mack Park. Unofficially, looks like an estimated about 400 or 500 in attendance.
That's a good estimation, Jeff. I was going to go about 4,000 or 5,000, but yep. And it's nice. Kids came over from after playing basketball and are coming over here to watch and everything. Such a great environment that Benny Lewis has put together out here at Mack Park.
Yeah, we had 2 courts full right before the game. Probably about 30, 40 kids out there playing ball. Williams looking to hit the second, leaves it short, but Antonio Wilson's putback no good, or with the rebound. So another 2 missed free throws. Deantra Scott, he's going to be fouled, and they'll count the bucket. So Deantra Scott, beautiful looking fall away, will head to the free throw line looking to complete the and one.
Yeah, that was just a matter of strength right there, not giving up, getting the ball up and out and over the rim. Nice play by Scott.
Foul's going to be called on number 7, Zach Payton. Marquise Rudolph currently on the bench for Bowling Green. Looks like Chris Watson's ready to check back in. Tim, as you noted earlier, Watson right now with 2 fouls. His team has 6 fouls.
Yeah, him and Rudolph both with 2, and Clemens and Orr with 1 for Bowling Green.
So Bowling Green now with a 2-point lead after the 3-point play by Deantra Scott. Score is 17-15. That was a huge, huge play by Scott, number 8.
Yeah, Coach Wilmot's still got to like what he sees here. Bowling Green only has 17 points with 1:20 to go, so he's got to like it, but not that one.
Lucas pass intercepted by Clemens. Clemens over to Kimberlin. 18-footer, rims out. And out of bounds possession will stay with Bowling Green.
Yeah, Kimberlin has a sweet little jumper. 9 times out of 10, that's going to go in when he's that wide open. Good play by Kimberlin. Ball out of bounds, though, stays with Bowling Green.
Just 1:10 left to play here in the first quarter. Or top of the key. Defense by Dennis Williams. Cross court goes to Scott. 3-point attempt left short. Rebounded by Payton. 58 seconds now left to play in the quarter. Lucas one-on-one with Terrace Clemens, goes with the left hand. Put back by Wilson's no good. It looks like he may have rolled his ankle just a little bit coming down there, Tim. As Deantra Scott finishes on the other end. Another bucket. Last 5 points have come from number 8.
Important 40 seconds here. Flight down by 4. Bowling Green's feeling really good as a flight, another turnover.
Bowling Green currently on a 9-0 run, matching that 11-0 run earlier in this quarter by the Flight. 27 seconds left on the clock, 15 on the shot clock. Kaylin Kimberlin for 3. Absolutely on fire are the Bowling Green Hornets. 22-15 now your score.
Yeah, Orrin Williams battling down low.
Lance Williams for 3. Drains it. That's exactly what the Flight needed, Tim. They needed 3 points. Anything.
Ooh, that was about in by Orr there. That would have counted if that would have went.
So after 1, scores 22-18. The Bowling Green Hornets on top. Fort Wayne opened the quarter, down 5-2. Went on an 11-0 run to take a 13-5 lead. From there on out, Bowling Green responds with a 12-0 run. The score was 15-10. Fort Wayne Fly on top before Bowling Green went on their run, which included a 3-pointer by Kaylin Kimberlin and a 3-point play by Deantra Scott. Terrace Clemens also with the 3-pointer here in this game. In the first quarter, Clemens with 5 points, Kimberlin with 3, Rudolph with 3, Scott with 5, Watson with 4, Orr with 2. For the Fort Wayne Flight, Reggie Lytle had 5 points. James Humphrey was 7, 3 for Wilson and 3 for Lance Williams. Both of those 3-pointers. The big man, Antonio Wilson, coming up with a 3-pointer, Tim.
Yeah, he had very solid minutes there in the first half. Rebounded it, had 5 boards there in the first quarter. So, it's been a good game for him so far. Cannon right now held scoreless, which is huge. Joseph not the big scorer, but Humphreys hanging in there at 7, a couple threes. I think we need to get him. The Flight need to get him down low a little bit more and see where that takes him. Maybe you can put some more pressure on the defense of Bowling Green, cause some more fouls on Watson and Clemens. If you can get one of those 2 with 3 fouls here, where Coach Thompson's going to have to take him out, and in the second quarter, this is where the Flight could make a difference.
Yeah, Bowling Green, I believe they had like 3 more fouls than Fort Wayne there in the first quarter. They ended up with 16 fouls. Bowling Green to 4 for Fort Wayne.
3. I don't think we've seen this lineup here for the Flight before, at least in the postseason. We'll see how this goes for Coach Wilmot.
Yeah, with Dennis Williams and James Humphrey matching up down low. Antonio Cannon, Zach Payton, and Lance Williams making up the guard set. So, yeah, Coach Wilmot playing around with a few different lineups here. Williams did not get much play in yesterday's big win against Chattanooga.
And Coach Thompson taking a bit of a risk here. Start of the second quarter, he's putting Watson back in the game. And Rudolph.
Scott working off that pick by Watson. The pick and roll is good. Beautiful move. Another strong take there, Tim, by Chris Watson.
Very impressive. You can see his confidence just blossoming right here in front of us. His game is at peak level right now and only getting better.
This is about the time where Antonio Cannon pours in some points for his team here in the second, down by 6. Peyton working against Watson. Watson, you got to be careful. They're picking up that third foul there as Dennis Williams gets the putback.
And that's what they can take advantage of here with the driving to the bucket. Watson, Clemens, Rudolph are not going to want to foul. You may get some Olay defense and a couple easy buckets, which can start your confidence going.
Scott, top of the key, working off the pick set by Watson. Nearly left his foot there, but did regroup. Air ball attempted. I believe that shot was partially blocked.
Yeah, that was good help defense by Peyton. Good recovery. Getting a hand on the ball.
And Zach Payton's another one of those guys that has been all over the place playing basketball. Came to us from Santa Monica Community College.
Yeah, he's an outstanding player. He's got a different game. You know, he's more of a ground level player, but can do a lot of things good.
Dennis Williams, right-handed hook shot, no good. Rebounded by Scott.
Scott's third rebound of the half.
You can see Watson's not too happy down there too. So anytime you got to deal with the 7-footer and Dennis Williams, it poses some problems for the 6'8" bigs.
You can see Coach Wellman out there screaming at his team. They missed one defensive rotation. He's going to be on them. He knows how important it is for the defensive rotation, team defense, being the number one defensive team in the league, only allowing 86 points a game. So in the postseason here. So outstanding by Coach Wilmot yelling out the help.
And anytime you're not happy with your defense, just bring back in Wadner Joseph. Is that right, Tim?
There's no question about it. He's your glue guy. Bring him back on the floor and see what happens. Nice hustle play by Watson.
So Watson nearly intercepting that pass intended for James Humphrey. Peyton finds a wide open Wadner Joseph going up strong with the left hand. Is number 9, Wadner Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph is a real wide body for his height, and he can use that body very well. So
24-22 is your score. 8:07 left here in the second. Has good defense there by Joseph, forces the turnover, an errant pass by Terrace Clemens.
Yeah, I think if Terrace Clemens just relaxed a little bit, not trying to make the home run plays all the time. This has been at least 3 times where he got caught up in the air. This is the first time it actually resulted in a turnover, but he's got caught up in the air 3 or 4 times here trying to make a pass.
Tim, real nice seeing number 1 James Johnson entering the lineup for Fort Wayne as well.
Yeah, he's got good length, good defender, can shoot the ball as well.
Down on the block, that's Humphrey. And Watson took a little bit of a spill there. James was left all alone, Tim.
Yeah, referees have already showed us here in the first half. They're not going to call that little block charge down there when it's big to big. So you better hold your position.
So we're tied at 24. Watson with another strong take. He could not convert, but we'll head to the free throw line to shoot 2. So the Flight currently on a 6-0 run, Tim, to tie it up at 24.
Yeah, and that looks like Coach Wilmot absolutely knows what he was doing with that lineup to start the second quarter. So, tying it up here, good coaching move by Coach Wilmot.
Foul's going to be called on number 1, James Johnson, his first and the team's first here in the second quarter. So that make there by Chris Watson gives Bowling Green back the lead at 25-24. Second free throw attempt is up and in. Tim Watson is such a polished player.
Yeah, he's so good, and I'm telling you, it's gotten better. The progression I've seen just in this weekend has been outstanding.
Antonio Cannon back to Humphrey from the wing. Did not take the three-point opportunity, but James Johnson does. Front rims right to Zach Payton. Payton now, nice pump fake as he got Deantra Scott off his feet and finishes.
Peyton having some quality minutes off the bench here for Coach Rod Wilmot.
We're tied up at 26, 7:09 left to play in the second quarter.
Not sure why Clemens gave that up, Jeff. Had Cannon one-on-one, all he had to do was back him down. Oh, looks like he knew what he was doing.
Three-pointer is good by Marquise Rudolph. 29-26, your score with Bowling Green up.
Another great coaching move. You know, I'm questioning Coach Thompson and bringing Watson and Rudolph off the bench here in the second quarter, but right away they're the ones scoring.
Cannon three-point attempts no good, but there is a loose ball. Joseph letting it go out of bounds. Wadner Joseph tie rope in the sideline there, Tim. I do think he nudged that table a little bit, but if anybody's going to be okay, it's big Wadner Joseph.
Yeah, he's built like a tank. There's no question about it.
6:42 left here in the second. Rudolph over the timeline. As he put on the brakes, Tim, that was like a hockey stop. Chris Watson now wing three-pointer. Rims out. Good rebound there by Zach Payton, keeping his defender away from that ball. Payton now blows right past Watson and Deantra Scott. Scoop shot's no good. And we got...
Payton was out of bounds when the ball fell on him.
Still heads-up play from his backside there. Tim tried to throw it off the knee of Watson.
Yeah, no question about it. Still, his basketball IQ is very, very high, is Payton.
So 6:21 now left to play. Rudolph calls out the X play. Deantra Scott, top of the key. Payton with the defense. Watson now one-on-one, just spin move, left it up, and we got a double dribble going to be called.
Yep, that's an absolutely good call. Lost the handle and then started to dribble again. You can't do that if the ball wasn't touched. But that's exactly what Coach Thompson's saying, is that the ball was deflected. So referee didn't see it that way.
So you can't just dribble and throw the ball in the area and go chase it down.
Absolutely not. That's a bit of an advantage for an offensive player.
Johnson up to Wadner Joseph. Payton looked like he was a little discouraged there.
He wanted the ball quick, to move it quick.
So the right-handed hook shot's no good by James Humphrey, looking for a foul from Watson.
Referee saw a block and not a foul on there. That's why it's going to stay with the flight. Only 9 seconds on the shot clock, it looks like, Jeff.
5:52 on the game clock. Inbounds pass by Antonio Cannon. Demarius Smith with the defense. Nice steal by Deantra Scott. Looking to go coast to coast, gives it up to Kimberlin. Kaylin Kimberlin, and that's a turnover there by Kimberlin. They're going to call it double dribble.
I wonder why I don't see that called more often. As all the basketball that I've watched, I've wondered why, referees give that first that corral dribble to a player. They let him get away with that, then let him go into the dribble. That time, referee did not do it. It's actually calling it by the letter of the law, as it should be, in my opinion.
So Watson on the bench or back into the game for Bowling Green. Matched up with James Humphrey. He goes down low. A nice spin move by Zach Payton. Tim, he fell his defender on his back, and Deantra Scott took advantage of it.
Huge minutes by Payton off the bench here. 4 points, 3 boards, and a block here in the second quarter. So outstanding minutes for Coach Wilmot off the bench.
Yeah, back-to-back buckets by Zach Payton. Pulls the flight to within 1, but the three-pointer is good by Kimberlin. Tim, we talked about it yesterday as the loose ball is picked up by James Johnson, who gets the lay-in. Talked about it yesterday. Kaylin Kimberlin wasn't forcing things. He was taking what was given to him and scored his team's first 14 points. The exact opposite happened today for Kimberlin, but he comes up large there with a three-pointer. As that loose ball is knocked out of bounds.
I think, he was on the end line as he touched the ball. Ball's going to go to the flight. Cannon, though, looks like he rolled. He just stepped awkwardly on that move there on the last offensive trip. We're going to take him out, and Lucas is going to come in for him, see if Cannon's okay. Coach Wilmot's telling him to go talk to the athletic trainer.
So Ronald Lucas, one of the youngest players in the CBA at just 21 years of age. Antonio Wilson, number 12, just 22 years of age.
And Lucas, very competent player, can come in and run the point for Coach Wilmot when Cannon sits the bench.
So that pass went off the foot of, I believe, Deantra Scott. So possession will stay with the Flight. Antonio Cannon getting that ankle looked at. Looked like they might tape it up real quick, get back out on the floor. I can guarantee you one thing, he ain't going to sit on the bench too long in this championship game of the CBA. That's pretty much a guarantee. Had a chance to speak with Antonio Cannon after the big win yesterday as Payton's jumper is short, but he gets his own board. Baseline jumper, rims out, rebounded by Orr. Yeah, safe to say Antonio Cannon was pretty excited, but was very eager to get into this championship game. Yeah, he knows what he's been working on this whole season. It hasn't been for himself, it's been for the team and winning the championship. So nice hands by Zach Payton knocking that ball away as Joseph goes up to James Humphrey, and Tim, that was definitely a travel. I don't think so, Jeff. It looked like it was a step and a half. You're allowed 2 steps. If you drop that ball off, I don't know why that was called a travel unless I'm just seeing it wrong. Yeah, I felt like here in real time, it looked like about 4 steps, but that's how good these players are. Maybe it was 3 steps with a drag, but anyway, Bowling Green up 32-30. 4:13 left to play in the corner. Zach Payton goes to the bench. Reggie Lytle back in for
Good
Fort
help
Wayne.
defense by Humphrey.
Good kick out to Marquise Rudolph. High arcing three-point attempt, no good. Scott's putback is no good. Rebounded by Wilson.
Yeah, Scott would have been better off just to come down with the board and go back up with it strongly.
Inside 4 minutes to play, 32-30. Lucas to James Humphrey. Humphrey has no problem there splitting defenders and getting to the cup.
Yeah, that was Humphrey seeing Clemens there to take a charge and just kind of glided to the right of him to put it up for a little finger roll deuce.
We're tied at 32. Deantra Scott driving top of the key.
Good help defense by Wilson again.
Rebounded by Humphrey. James Humphrey now bringing it up for the flight. Lucas over to Lytle. Went right through his hands. Feed goes up to Scott. Kalen Kimberlin looking to get some separation so he can get a shot off. Another rebound by James Humphrey. Wilson's going to let Lytle bring it up for the flight. Reggie Lytle putting on the quicks.
The block by Clemens.
Yep, blocked by Terrace. Now Kalen Kimberlin. Deantra Scott one-on-one with James Humphrey. Out to Rudolph for three. Left-handed shot, left short. And Deantra Scott going to be called with a reach in there, Tim.
Silly foul there. No need. You're 40 feet away from your basket or from your defense. There's no reason to even put your hands in there. Humphrey had position easily. There was no question about that. So just a silly move.
It's safe to say that Coach Thompson's pretty excited about the fact that he played 7 minutes here in the second quarter and his team picked up their first foul.
Yeah, there's no question about it. That helps for Coach Thompson, keeping his team out of foul trouble going into the second half.
So Coach Rod Wilmot's going to call a timeout here for the flight. Fort Wayne is 9-2 all-time, Tim, in the city of Fort Wayne, while Bowling Green is 2-1 here in Fort Wayne. Obviously, the 2 wins coming here in the postseason tournament. Yesterday was our semifinals, and 2 weeks ago we had round 1 of the tournament. And Tim, with Fort Wayne having such a young team, we know that they're an explosive bunch. You know, they're a tight camaraderie type team, so they can play ball, but the knock on Fort Wayne has always been on the road. Can they pick up the road wins in an environment like at Middle Tennessee or Chattanooga this year, earlier in the year, in Russellville, Kentucky, go down there and lose a heartbreaker to Bowling Green, 91-90 in the final seconds. So we knew it was going to be an advantage for the Flight hosting the 2015 postseason tournaments, and that's definitely come to fruition.
Yeah, there's no question about it. When we heard that it was all going to be held here in Fort Wayne, not only were we excited about it personally so we could do every single game, but knowing the Flight and how well they play at home is a huge advantage to them. And so far, I mean, 32-32 here in the first half. It's a pretty good scoring game as far as what Coach Wilmot would like. I'm sure Coach Thompson would like to be in the mid-40s or even closer to 40 right now. But it's been a well-played game, a little sloppy at times. First quarter was a little sloppy with the fouls, but overall, this has been a very entertaining first half, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Well, the CBA Media Relations picked Fort Wayne to win this game 92-89. Says the winning coach from today's championship game will become the second winningest coach in a 3-year history. 17 wins for Nathan Wilhite, 12 for Rod Wilmot, 12 for Nathan Thompson, and Floyd Irons from St. Louis with 12 wins as well. This is Bowling Green's second appearance in the last 3 seasons in the league's championship game. They lost to St. Louis back in 2013, 107-96. This is the first title game appearance for the Fort Wayne Flight.
And Coach Wilmot, as we mentioned through the broadcast here throughout the year, one of the young and up-and-coming coaches here in the country. So, Coach Wilmot, not only the players have a lot to look forward to, but Coach Wilmot as Humphrey, James.
Antonio Wilson, the one-on-one game with James Humphrey, and Humphrey just throws it down big time there, Tim. I remember seeing that image on Shaquille O'Neal's basketball shoes.
That's absolutely his icon. That right there, Kimberlin, nice pull-up 3.
So Kalen Kimberlin responds. The last 2 buckets for Bowling Green have been 3-pointers by Kalen Kimberlin as Bowling Green takes back the lead 35-34.
Yeah, that's a huge play. You cannot let him just come down on, wide open for an open 3 like that. He's going to drain him.
Reggie Lytle, 19-foot jumper attempt, bounces over the backboard.
Yeah, I think Coach Thompson, this is a game plan thing of trying to let Lytle's the one that's trying to beat him, because he's definitely, as a team, they're playing off Reggie Lytle's jump shot.
Miscommunication there by Demarius Smith, and Marquise Rudolph results in a turnover. Tim, we've been seeing those kind of dunks from James Humphrey all season long this year. It's something we didn't see last year.
No, absolutely, and especially with yesterday,
Watson with the reverse jam.
Especially last night in the semifinals, it seemed like they probably had 2 or 3 there in the second half, the Flight did, where it really, really excited the crowd and got them going.
Ronald Lucas, no good. Marquise Rudolph came down with the board, but knocked out of bounds by Wadner Joseph. Once again, Wadner Joseph always around the ball.
Yeah, he's the glue guy, do everything guy for the Flight.
So Antonio Cannon, who had to leave this game with an ankle injury, looks like he's set to return, as you foreshadowed, Tim.
Coach Thompson not sure why there was a stoppage of play so Cannon could get in the game. Or shouldn't have been. Cannon should be still sitting on the sidelines.
Kimberlin, good looking crossover, still picked up by Joseph. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Terrace Clemens back into the game for Bowling Green. Rudolph kicks back to Terrace. Top of the key, three-pointer is good by number 3, Terrace Clemens, his second three-pointer of the game.
You can just see how little amount of space he needs to get his shot up. He can do it in the closet.
40-36 is your score currently for Bowling Green. It's an 8-0 run. Rudolph does a good job of keeping that ball alive. Terrace Clemens finds himself in open space. Extra passing results in a block by James Humphrey on Chris Watson. Now it's Reggie Lytle over to Antonio Cannon. Cannon going up right against Terrace Clemens, a little bit too hard though, and Clemens gets the rebound. Cannon is not scared to take it to anybody down on the block. Clemens misses that time. Watson comes down with the board, but they're going to call him for over the back, I do believe, Tim.
Yep, and that's his third foul. That's not where you want the foul. 43 seconds left in the second quarter. I guarantee you Coach Thompson's kicking himself for not getting him out here in the past minute.
Yeah, especially with the advantage that Bowling Green had, or does have. Bowling Green currently on an 8-0 run. You kind of want to keep that momentum going, Tim, I guess, and maybe take a 14, 16-point lead into the break instead of just 6.
Sure, but what's more important? It's risk reward on that, and the risk outweighed the reward as far as keeping Watson in the game.
The handoff goes to Cannon. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Humphrey with the pump fake. Back to Cannon. Wide open three-point attempt is good. Three-pointer by Antonio Cannon.
2 big plays there for Cannon and Humphrey. Nice 2-man game.
That's going to pull the Flight to within 3, but more importantly, it ends an 8-0 run by these Hornets. Terrace Clemens has that shot blocked, but he regroups and gets the putback. That's Terrace Clemens fighting hard. So that'll do it for the first half, as Bowling Green's going to head into the break with a 42-37 lead over the Fort Wayne Flight. Bowling Green ending off the quarter there on an 11-3 run to take back the lead. Tim, this has been a back and forth matchup with lots of lead changes. Just here in the second quarter, we've had over 5 lead changes, so pretty much what we've expected from this matchup. Looking at Bowling Green scoring, Terrace Clemens and Chris Watson lead the Hornets with 10 points apiece. Kalen Kimberlin with 9 points. Marquise Rudolph with 6. Deantra Scott with 5. And Eric Orr with 2 points for the Bowling Green Hornets, which are the number 2 seed in these 2015 postseason playoffs. A little bit redundant there, apologize, Tim. Looking at the Fort Wayne Flight, scoring James Johnson with 2 points, Reggie Lytle with 5, Dennis Williams had 2 points, Antonio Cannon with 3. Took him all the way until that last three-pointer to get his first bucket, and still the Flight are within 5, so Zach Payton with 4 points, Wadner Joseph with 2, James Humphrey 3 rebounds, 13 points, Antonio Wilson with 5 points and 6 boards, Lance Williams with 3 points. Tim, pretty surprising that Antonio Cannon got his first bucket there at the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, the good thing is he's not forcing it. He's had a couple at the rim that he normally finishes. just hasn't been able to get it to drop on those slashes to the basket. So I know, Coach Wilmot's still got to feel happy, kind of like Coach Thompson did yesterday with Clemens only having about 3 points at halftime or whatever it was. With Cannon still the same thing, and look what happened in Bowling Green. They ended up winning by almost 30. So right now Coach Wilmot's in the locker room right now, letting everybody know, hey, we didn't play good. We didn't play that well. We could definitely outwork them and get the W here for the championship.
And Bowling Green definitely hoping that three-point shooting, they've been fantastic from beyond the arc in this game, stays with them as they get ready to enter the second half here in about 13 minutes. Folks, we'll take a break, and we'll be back with you for the start of the third quarter. And we are back and just 2 minutes away to the start of the second half here at the McMillan Center in Fort Wayne, Indiana. This is Mack Park, and the Fort Wayne Fly and Bowling Green Hornets are playing their 4th ever game in the 2-year history of Fort Wayne and the 3-year history of the Bowling Green Hornets. In all 3 games, the team that has led us at halftime has gone on to win the game. And in the league's championship history, the home team is 2-0 in the title game. Last year, Middle Tennessee defeated St. Louis in Nashville. In 2013, St. Louis defeated Bowling Green in St. Louis. Also in league championship history, the higher seed is 2-0 in the title game. In 2014, second-ranked Middle Tennessee defeated 4th-ranked St. Louis. And in 2013, top-ranked St. Louis defeated second-ranked Bowling Green. So either way, Tim, something's got to give here today as the Fly are down by 5, and they are the home team in this contest, but they are the lower seed, being the 4th seed, taking on the number 2 seed Bowling Green Hornets.
Yeah, the most surprising thing right now to me, looking at all the stat sheets here, is Cannon with 3 points. Obviously, we mentioned it there towards the end of the first half. Not as aggressive, but still letting it come to him. He's not forcing a whole lot, but just missed a couple layups that he normally finishes through contact. So I'm not too worried about it. The Flight shouldn't be too worried about it. But I tell you one thing, the Flight are not going to win this game if Cannon's held to 3 points.
Tim, we've seen some outstanding dunks already from James Humphrey and Chris Watson, but arguably the play of the game is a foul. It's the 3rd foul that Chris Watson picked up just 43 seconds left until halftime. Yeah,
that was a huge play right there. Watson on the offensive end here, going after a silly rebound and foul. So yeah, that was his 3rd foul. Rudolph with 2. Clemens had that one early, but didn't pick up another one. So Coach Thompson, after the way it started foul-wise, has got to be pretty happy besides that 3rd one from Watson.
And Coach Wilmot here in his 3rd game in the postseason has added to his arsenal. As we saw James Johnson pick up some minutes and Dennis Williams pick up some minutes and points for the Fort Wayne Flight.
Yeah, another one, Zach Payton had huge minutes off the bench for Coach Wilmot, 4 points, 4 boards, and a block. So also played good defense, had a couple hustle plays. So yes, the bench was key. And I think the only reason the Flight are still in this game is because of the bench. So Williams had good minutes, as you mentioned. So right now, it's up to the starters to take this game over for the Flight, and for the Bowling Green, it's to not let that happen.
Antonio Cannon, we got the starting lineup for the Fort Wayne Flight on the floor here to start the 3rd quarter. Cannon being guarded by Kalen Kimberlin, goes down to Antonio Wilson, and Tim just battling with Terrace Clemens right there, trying to back him down, loses control and knocks it out of bounds.
Yeah, it happens. There's not handles on the basketball, so sometimes that happens. Just let it slip out your hands.
Antonio Cannon Antonio Wilson regarded as a true 5 right there. It just speaks to how big Terrace Clemens is for Bowling Green, matching up with Wilson on the block. Deantra Scott, 4-3 to open up the 3rd quarter for the Bowling Green Hornets.
Obviously not what Coach Wilmot wanted, a wide open 3 from one of their best shooters. So yeah, that's not a good way to start it.
James Humphrey battling through the contact of Eric Orr, cannot finish, but will head to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Absolutely, you foul James Humphrey in that. If you're not Watson or Clemens, foul Humphrey. If he's that close to the bucket, make him go to the line to convert.
James Humphrey did hit his last 2 free throws back in the 1st quarter for the Flight, as he misses the first. James in this game is 3 of 5. Now it's 3 of 6 from the free throw line.
It's funny how stats usually hold up, Jeff, over time. There's a reason that they're statted per game like this. There's tendencies and averages, and that's the way it is.
Does hit the second one, so the Flight now down 38-45. 7-point advantage for the Hornets as Marquise Rudolph over the timeline, over to Scott. Deantra Scott being guarded by James Humphrey out on the perimeter. James Humphrey's not scared to play away from the rim. Kalen Kimberlin driving tough. Gets the floater in the lane and will head to the free throw line looking for the and one. That's Kalen Kimberlin.
That was a strong move to the right hand, right into the center of the lane. Got up, didn't get a lot of hang time there, but right before his foot came down, he flipped it up over the rim. So outstanding play by Kalen Kimberlin.
And Tim, you talk about how important it is to have that as part of your arsenal if you are a guard.
Yeah, there's no question about it, especially at the height that Kimberlin and Cannon are. Floater's another one that's just so important. You got to have that in the arsenal. If you don't, you will get swatted often.
So Bowling Green extends their lead to 10 points here with Chris Watson on the bench to start the third quarter. That was James Humphrey over to Widener Joseph. Widener Joseph had to sneak out from behind the backboard, Tim, and muscle that one in.
Yeah, that was good interior passing by the bigs, Wilson and Humphrey, as Kimberlin goes easily to the cup.
But cannot finish, and rebounded by Humphrey. Quickly gets it out to Widener Joseph. Cannon over to Reggie Lytle for 3. Just misses. Good tip by James Humphrey, keeping that ball away from Eric Orr, but it is turned over to Terrace Clemens. Deantra Scott one-on-one with Wilson, gets his own rebound with the putback.
Intensity levels got to pick up here for the Flight. They look a little defeated right now. There's 8.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, down by 10. This game's not over by any means.
As Reggie Lytle drives straight to the cup, cannot get it to fall, but Widener Joseph's there with the putback, draws the contact, and will head to the free throw line.
And if that's on Orr, that's going to be his third, Jeff. Let's see who they call that on.
Yeah, Eric Orr picked up a foul early here in the third, and now he will be called with his third. So it looks like Watson's going to have to come back into this game.
Yeah, if I'm Coach Thompson, I leave Orr out, keep Watson on the bench. You got an 8-point cushion right here. You can afford Orr to foul out of the game. You cannot afford Watson to foul out of this game.
I think they're going to take Orr out and bring in Demarius Smith. But no, Orr will stay
Orr in.
Kalen Kimberlin now going to head to the bench. So 50-43 is your score after Widener Joseph's 3-point play. Marquise Rudolph being guarded. Nice pick by Eric Orr. Orr had an open lane there, but did not get the pass. Terrace Clemens, huge jumper with Widener Joseph in his face.
So gifted athletically is Clemens. Turnaround jumper with the hand in his face. Just a tremendous play.
And a tough take by Antonio Cannon, who picks up his 5th point of the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to come a time where he's going to have to get just more aggressive, forcing it or not. He's going to have to get more aggressive for the Fort Wayne Flight to have a chance of getting the championship.
And the thing is, Tim, when he picks up his fouls, it's down on the block because he's driving to the cup.
Correct.
And that could cause problems for Bowling Green.
Absolutely, no question about it, especially with Watson out. Here he goes to the cup again. That time blocked by Clemens, but keep going at it.
Clemens picks up the loose ball. Now Deantra Scott, 1-on-2. Outlet goes over to Smith, who loses the ball. Fort Wayne picks it up.
Coach Wilmot very unhappy with James Humphrey there on the hustling back to defense. He's going to come out of the game.
Widener Joseph has it stripped
Good hands
away.
by Wilson.
And James Humphrey gets it back, but we got a traveling going to be called, and he's not happy. But lots of contact going on there. And Tim, once again, Terrace Clemens listed as a guard. He can take the grunt from just about anybody here in the CBA. He's got the kind of body to withstand contact from these bigs.
Yeah, it's incidental contact. Coach Thompson has a problem here with the scorers table. I'm not sure if he's looking at the score.
I got 52-45. As the inbounds pass goes up to Demarius Smith. Eric Orr, top of the key. Terrace Clemens, near side wing, being guarded by Antonio Cannon. Deantra Scott Shot clock dwindling down at 10 seconds. Slot pass goes into Orr and finishes at the cup.
Yeah, that was a great pass and a good finish there by Orr. Sealed off the defender to the paint. Nice look.
9-point advantage now for the Hornets. James Humphrey on the bench for Fort Wayne. Ronald Lucas into the game. Scoop shots.
They're going to get Orr, I think, on that.
It's going to be Clemens or Orr.
I thought they got Orr on the reach in, but nope, they're going to give it to Clemens, his second.
So Ronald Lucas will head to the free throw line to shoot 2 on the foul by Terrace Clemens. You know, that's one thing I've noticed throughout the course of this season is Terrace Clemens really does not pick up a whole lot of fouls.
No, he doesn't. I mean, with his body control and his athleticism, he really doesn't have to. He can move his feet well enough where he's not going to put himself in position to make fouls or be in bad position defensively.
So Clemens picks up his second foul as Ronald Lucas hits the first free throw. And
that's Lucas's first point of the ball game, Jeff.
Tim, if there's one thing that you think Terrace Clemens, if he could add it to his game right now, would by far have an overseas contract, you know, be well on his way.
In my opinion, he has the tools already. It's more about tightening everything up. He gets a little careless sometimes. He gets tested and will jack one up wildly at times. So, you know, to me,
it looks like we got a loose ball foul going to be called here on the Hornets.
And that's on Orr.
And because Antonio Wilson had possession and they were still digging away. So now Eric Orr with his 4th foul. And Tim, in that situation, you had 3 Hornets around Antonio Wilson, but he came down with the board. He had 2 hands on it, and they pick up that 4th foul.
Yeah, that's just not knowing the situation, Jeff. It happens in the game of basketball. It happens so quick at times. You're being aggressive as a good thing. He's not purposely trying to foul. He's going after the ball to get a turnover. Just, sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not.
And in that situation, it's like, okay, Wilson's got the board. You fought hard for it. Get back on defense.
Right, exactly. Especially when Watson has 3. You have 3 yourself. No reason to even try to get your hand caught in a cookie jar there. But, it happens. It happens.
And now Antonio Wilson's at the free throw line to shoot 2 free throws because Bowling Green just picked up their 5th team foul, Tim. So that sends Fort Wayne into the bonus.
And we still have 6.5 minutes to play in the third. This is a huge opportunity for the Flight. They need to attack the cup the remaining of this third quarter. Keep pressing the defense of Bowling Green, and this could lopside here quickly.
Big T Wilson at the free throw line hits his first on the season, a 69% free throw shooter.
Yeah, and another good stroke for the big man like Humphrey.
Second free throw attempt. That one rims out, tip to Marquise Rudolph. So once again, Watson going up for that rebound, you kind of cringe a little bit because you hope he doesn't pick up a foul.
Every time he's in any type of play, Coach Thompson's going to hold his breath.
Demarius Smith finds Clemens, elbow, working against Ronald Lucas. Those spin moves, all he has to do is elevate Tim, get his shoulders square to the bucket, and he's going to knock it down.
And you mentioned it right there. That's what he does so well. Off the spin move or the crossover, he shoulders up and squares up to the basket so well.
Ronald Lucas now 3-point attempt working off that pick by Antonio Wilson. So great job by Antonio Wilson providing that screen where Lucas was wide open to take that shot. Just didn't fall down that time.
And that's kind of the trend that we've been seeing today here for the Flight. Just the shots aren't falling like they normally do for the Flight. That's a big reason why they're down 9 points.
Well, Ronald Lucas is going to check out now. Lance Williams going to see if he can help that shooting percentage for the Fort Wayne Flight, as we've known him to do. Demarius Smith being guarded by Lance. Beautiful feed. 3 Flight players around Deantra Scott, and he's going to head to the free throw line to shoot 2. But what a nice looking pass there. I believe that was Demarius Smith.
Yeah, that was a good look. That was a very good look. Good pump fake. Get the defenders up in the air.
56-47 you're scored with the Hornets up. That is just the second team foul for the Flight, charged to Reggie Lytle, his second.
Jeff, this has quite a bit of the same feel as Bowling Green's game last night. Kind of controlled the game for the most part. Then towards the third quarter, pulled away, and then the fourth quarter, it absolutely dominated. So the Flight's got to be careful of that. Most of the team, including Coach Wilmot, were here watching last night. So they know, and I'm sure they're feeling the trend as well as I am.
Both free throws are a miss.
Watson about got picked up on another silly one, Jeff, over the back. That was dangerous for him.
So Antonio Cannon, pick and roll, as that pass results in a turnover. Ronald Lucas going to check into the game. And we'll see who Lucas checks in for. It's going to be Cannon. I must have missed something. Okay, Antonio Wilson checking out. James Humphrey checking in. Reggie Lytle came
sat
out.
down on that.
Yeah. On the bench is Eric Orr and Chris Watson for Bowling Green as Kalen Kimberlin's back in.
And right now, Jeff Clemens, the biggest player on the court for Bowling Green. So let's see what the Flight can do.
Marquise Rudolph goes down to Terrace Clemens, trying to back down Ronald Lucas. They're going to call a jump ball there, but Tim, talk about that. Terrace Clemens in that situation jumped to an open area, got his feet planted, and went up for the jumper there. That was a neat-looking play.
He does it all the time. I mean, it's obviously ingrained in his offensive makeup. He just sees where that opening is and either does a drop step or a spin move right into that spot.
And Tim, you don't see those basketball plays too often, and I got to believe it's because, nice play by Deantra Scott with the reverse lane as he's fouled by James Humphrey.
Yeah, that was a huge move by Scott right there, taking Humphrey to the basket, using the rim as the extra to block the shot blocker on that, and reversed it for good.
But Tim, to go back to my point with Terrace Clemens, you just don't see his basketball moves very often because most coaches would put you right on the bench if you try that stuff.
Right.
But with Terrace Clemens, the shots fall, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's all part of his game. It's all part of his swag. It's all part of his wiggle, however you want to call it. That's part of his game and what makes him so good. To me, I would just like him to tighten up the other things a little bit. Don't take your athleticism as, hey, I'm just going to overwhelm people with my athleticism, especially with dribbling. He can set guys up so easily with just his head fakes and stuff. He's so crafty. Defenders tend to believe what he's doing. So, Clemens definitely is one of the best players in this CBA.
And one of the youngest at just 23 years of age. So Antonio Cannon going to head to the free throw line as Demarius Smith picks up his first foul on the team's second. So this is where the Flight are going to stay in this game, Tim, is at the free throw line with 5 minutes left to play here in the third. But you got to hit the free throws.
Yeah, you can get to the line all you want, but it's converting is the key. I mean, if you can't convert from the line, it's going to be a long rest of the game here for the Flight. They're in the double bonus here, so there's no reason to chip at this lead as Cannon hits the second of two.
Tim, the Fly have hit 5 of 9 free throws here in the third. 58-48 is your score, 10-point advantage for Bowling Green as that's a turnover by Smith.
Yeah, and that's just unforced right there. Just took his eye off Rudolph, his intended teammate. Just took his eye off for a minute. Rudolph slid kind of more towards the top and caused a turnover.
And Tim, I'm sure that some of that could be attributed to the fact that Demarius Smith has not been with the team too much towards the end of the season, but's back here for the semifinals in the championship game.
Absolutely.
Cannon down to James Humphrey. Humphrey going up hard with the right, and a little bit of a mismatch there with Deantra Scott, or not really, just a great play by
That's a lot of mismatch right there. That's not even close. There's no way that anybody in this court can stop Humphrey besides Clemens, and I don't think Coach Thompson's going to put Clemens on him. So, Humphrey should get the next 10 points, in my opinion, for the Flight. You keep going down to him. I think we got an illegal defense here, Jeff.
So with the illegal defense, once again, FIBA rules, you cannot play zone. So basically, you have to be matched up with an offensive player.
Correct. Yeah, it's a 3-second violation. You have 3 seconds to be within arm's length of your defender. It's obviously a judgment call as far as the referees are concerned, as far as what that length away from the offender is. But it's to keep that zone out of play in the game of basketball, which is so key. Going back to college and that, you can see guys winning championships on zone defense alone. So, not to mention it makes it less entertaining. We want to see some offense here. That should be a 1-shot foul, Jeff, not a 2-shot foul for a defensive 3-second call.
Okay, so Terrace did miss his free throw uncharacteristically.
Yeah, he made the first one, Jeff, missed that second one that didn't count. He made that first one.
Made the first one, missed the second.
Correct, but the second one didn't count.
Okay, so those keep it as a 1 free throw attempt?
Correct.
All right, so 59-50 is your score. So,
good luck.
And Rudolph's going to finish. Foul going to be called on Cannon. And Tim, yeah, you can see it on the floor right now. The Fly absolutely looked deflated, looked defeated. It might be a situation here where Coach Wilmot's going to have to go to those different lineups with Dennis Williams, James Johnson,
Zach Payton. Yeah, get something in here. Zach Payton came in the second quarter and gave outstanding minutes off the bench for Coach Wilmot. So, we'll see how it happens. But, yeah, he needs to shake it up some because it ain't working right now.
62-50, 12-point advantage for Bowling Green as Antonio Cannon's going to check out and Zach Payton's going to come back in. Last time Payton was on the floor, Tim, good things happen for Fort Wayne.
Yeah, there's no question about it. He's going to run the point right now and see if Williams can get open for a 3 or 2.
That's Zach Payton working against Terrace Clemens. Clemens doing a good job of just sticking his arm out there and causing some distraction for Payton as we got a jump ball.
Just hard-nosed basketball down there. Everybody getting aggressive. No wrong with that.
.353 left to play here in the third quarter.
Gonna mop up some sweat here. This is danger time right here for the Fly. Down 12, just under 4 minutes to play. Shots not falling for you. You're hanging your head a little bit. What are you going to be here? This is where champions are made and when they're not. So let's see what happens for the Flight.
Obviously, you may not be taking the lead into the fourth quarter, but you want that positive momentum. You want something to build off of. And looks like Deantra Scott, they're going to call a foul on the reach-in.
Yeah, reach-in foul there on Lucas. Lucas had the position on the out-of-bounds play, and you see that quite a bit from the Flight. Coach Wilmot drawing up those out-of-bounds plays beautifully. And you see it a lot of passes right at the rim on out-of-bounds plays.
So the Fly head back to the free throw line. Ronald Lucas, 1 of 2 in the third quarter at the charity stripe.
Okay, referee warning both teams. He said, any more words, you will get a technical. I ain't warning you anymore. It's going to be a technical. So, hey, that's all you can ask from a referee. Let him let you know where you stand. So now it's up to the players to adjust. Referees ain't going nowhere. You got to adjust to them.
Right. Lucas with his team down by 12 points, 3:52 to play in the third. It's the first of 2 free throws. Lucas now with 2 points in this game, all here in the third quarter. Second free throw attempt is up and in. So the Flight now pull within 10 as Marquise Rudolph matched up with Lucas. Demarius Smith now driving down to the block as Kalen Kimberlin comes working off the pick set by Clement. Kimberlin goes all the way, but Zach Payton trailing on the play, blocks him from behind. Just 7 seconds remains on the shot clock.
I think Coach Wilmot's going something he saw there in the first half and the second quarter with Payton guarded Kimberlin. I like that matchup for the Flight.
Inbounds pass, tip to Zach Payton. Payton already paying dividends in the third. Beautiful feed. This James Humphrey with the 2-hand flush.
Payton, what did we say since he checked in the game? Can he give the minutes he did in the first half to Coach Wilmot? And he started that way. Flight down by 8. Good crossover.
Deantra Scott.
It's got to be a foul.
Yeah, it looked like Payton held ground there, but they're going to call him with the block as that right leg, Tim, was just stuck out a little bit there and clipped Deantra Scott.
Yeah, no big deal. Going to go stand on the line, but I thought they should be shooting free throws here, Jeff.
As that is the 6th team foul there by the Flight. Tim, Bowling Green opened up the season with a loss at Chattanooga, 116-113, but then hosted Chattanooga 2 weeks later and beat them 94-91. So Bowling Green, the only team to hand Chattanooga a loss in the regular season. And we talked about this with the owner of Middle Tennessee yesterday, Mr. Carlin Alford. And you know, just having three really good teams in close proximity with Middle Tennessee, Bowling Green, and Chattanooga, and how it just elevates all three of those teams. And obviously here in Fort Wayne, we're hoping with the franchise next year, maybe in Indianapolis, we too can kind of build off of each other here in the state of Indiana. Also maybe looking up for a team in South Bend region. You know, South Bend has great basketball and a great NAIA presence with Bethel College, who Coach Mike Lightfoot, I mean, they're one of the best to do it.
Yeah, in South Bend area also, you're going to pull from Chicago and Southern Michigan. So, yeah, that it all makes sense, and we'll see how it plays out in here the next couple of years for the CBA.
So Zach Payton looking for Lance Williams in the corner, had that pass deflected. Now Kalen Kimberlin on the other end is going to get the lay-in and head to the bucket, or head to the free throw line as he's fouled by Ronald Lucas.
Just a silly foul by Lucas. Either you foul him or you don't. You're not going to give him that three-point play. Foul him or no.
Bowling Green currently up by 11, 65 to 54. 3:02 left here in the third.
Yeah, Jeff, Kimberlin, I mean, Bowling Green doing all this with Kimberlin only with 11 points as he missed the free throw there for the conversion. So up by 11, and Kimberlin only has that many as Lucas has a nice left-handed dribble drive to the bucket.
65-56, Kimberlin. He did have three three-pointers in the first half. Zach Payton, what a pass down to Humphrey, left all alone. One hand, no doubt about it.
You can feel it. You can feel the momentum changing a bit here, Jeff, in Mack Park.
Fly only down by 7 now, 2:32 left to play in the third. There's Terrace Clemens getting on his Getty up and drains the triple. That's one way to quiet the crowd.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I think he knew exactly what he was going to do when he touched that ball here on the offensive end. It was no doubt he was going up.
Such swagger there by Clemens as he draws the foul. Wadner Joseph gets the lane and going to head to the free throw line. Great job there by Wadner Joseph, getting Clemens in the air, drawing the contact, but more importantly, finishing.
Pump fake. It's all about pump fake. Give your defender a pump fake. With all the aggressiveness that goes on in the game of basketball right now, the pump fake is a huge offensive weapon for the offender. So absolutely great play by Wadner Joseph. See if he can convert to cut it within 7.
And that's foul number 3 for Terrace Clemens, team foul number 8. So the Fly once again down by 7 as Wadner Joseph's three-point play matches the three-pointer by Terrace Clemens.
And Coach Thompson not waiting any longer, bringing Watson back in the game. Watson with 3, or still sitting on the bench for 4, but
and Terrace on the bench with 3. Demarius Smith, only 1 foul. So if anybody's going to do it for Bowling Green, could be number 6.
Huge 2 minutes here, Jeff.
Marquise Rudolph being guarded by big Zach Payton.
Good help defense.
Feed goes to Kimberlin.
Good help defense again.
Good kick out to Marquise Rudolph. Three-pointer left short.
Good block by Joseph. You kidding me?
Jump ball as Wadner Joseph pins it against the backboard. That was a huge play, Tim, as it looked like, no doubt about it, Chris Watson was going to get the deuce.
Not only was he going to get the deuce, I think he was going to go up for a monster slam and get his team involved. So, huge play by Wads.
1:50 left to play here in the third. 7-point advantage for these Hornets. Tim, the Fort Wayne community has really come out today here in the championship game, filling the bleachers, providing some excitement for the players.
Coach Wilmot talking to the referees about something. I'm not quite sure what it is, but okay, I know what they're talking about here. Alternate possession on a jump ball, it should go to 14 from my recollection of the rules. It wouldn't go to 24, but it definitely wouldn't stay at 1.
The shot clock.
The shot clock, yeah.
And Bowling Green has possession because Fort Wayne opened the third with possession.
Correct. Yeah, it's alternated possession, and on the jump ball, it's definitely Bowling Green's ball. The question is, where should the shot clock be? And the NBA is not 24. It goes to 14. So I'm not sure if that's just a FIBA rule. I apologize for not knowing that. But anyway, it's 24 fresh shot clock.
Deantra Scott.
That's a travel.
A little extra step as the pass goes over to Watson. Watson pulls
Good hands
up.
by Humphrey, and he still finished.
16-foot jumper is good by number 11.
Humphrey had that ball in his hand, and Watson just muscled it up and still hit the jumper. Outstanding player. Chris Watson, seeing him blossom right in front of our eyes is a beautiful thing.
Lob down to Wadner Joseph, who gets it off the glass, expecting the contact there, Tim. Kind of muscled up and got it down.
10 points for Joseph here in the third quarter, Jeff. Monster quarter for him.
So once again, a 7-point advantage for Bowling Green. Kaylin Kimberlin. Kimberlin knocks it down.
Fadeaway jumper by Kimberlin with the hand in his face. Fell to the ground. My goodness gracious.
Zach Payton now working off the pick set by Humphrey. Pulls up, 20-footer, no good. Rebounded by Deantra Scott. Up to Marquise Rudolph. He has it knocked away by Joseph. James Humphrey picks up the loose ball. He just takes it straight to the cup, draws the foul, and finishes with the lay-in. James Humphrey pulling Fort Wayne once again to within 7, 65-72.
Huge minutes by Zach Payton here in the third quarter. Matched it at the second quarter as well. What a huge midseason pickup for Benny Lewis in the flight, with Zach Payton giving them some great minutes, leading to some more buckets and easy buckets here. Let's see if Humphrey can convert on the three-point play.
Foul is called on Deantra Scott, and that's his fourth, Tim. So now 2 players with 4 fouls. It's Eric Orr and Scott, as that's the Hornets' 9th foul here in the frame.
That's Humphrey's 10th point of the quarter there, Jeff. 23 total in the game. So Humphrey's coming up big. Needs a little help. Let's see if Cannon can help out in the fourth quarter. But I'm not sure if that ankle's bothering Cannon over there, to be honest with you.
So the lead now down to 6 for Bowling Green. Good feed. Good hands,
lucky bounce there for Bowling Green.
Kaylin Kimberlin just sticking with it there. 74-66 your score. Cross-court pass goes to Lance Williams. Ronald Lucas, 21 seconds as the floater's no good, a little bit too hard. Rebounded by Scott. Bounce pass to Marquise Rudolph. Lob. Demarius Smith cannot finish, but Rudolph's there with the putback.
That was just a lack of hustle getting back on defense by the flight, and that leads to a nice defensive turnover.
Deantra Scott, foot inside the arc. Long 2-point attempts, no good. Nonetheless, Bowling Green with a 10-point advantage heading into the fourth. Tim, Fort Wayne had that momentum going like we wanted them, like we thought they needed to do heading into the fourth. But Bowling Green counters, and really right now heading into the fourth, it's hard to say that there's any momentum for either team, but there's a 10-point advantage for Bowling Green.
Kaylin Kimberlin was the difference maker there at the end of the third quarter. Without his couple of buckets and his defensive play over here on Humphrey, without that, this could be a different score here going into the fourth. So huge minutes by Kaylin Kimberlin.
And like you said, James Humphrey with a huge third quarter there. Flight still waiting for Antonio Cannon to get going, as currently right now he has 6 points in this game. So far it's been a huge game though by James Humphrey. Looking at Bowling Green, Terrace Clemens, a big third quarter as he has 19 points. Yeah, Terrace Clemens with 21 points in this game, 15 points for Kimberlin, 10 for Rudolph, 12 for Scott, 12 for Watson, 4 for Orr. Watson with 3 fouls, Clemens with 3 fouls, Scott with 4, Eric Orr with 4 is the story with Bowling Green. Fort Wayne Flight, Johnson still with 2 points, Lytle still with 5, and Williams still with 2. Antonio Cannon with 3 points in the third. He has 6 now. Peyton still with 4. Lucas with 5 points all in the third quarter. Wadner Joseph with 12 points had 10 in the third quarter. James Humphrey with 23 points had 10 in the third quarter. Antonio Wilson with 1 third quarter point. He has 4 points. And Lance Williams still with 3. So some big play there in the third by James Humphrey and Wadner Joseph for the Flight. But once again, looking at Bowling Green, Terrace Clemens, Kaylin Kimberlin, once again, all the guys that you have been able to rely on all season long, just staying consistent.
Yeah, they're ever ready. There's no question about it. Coach Thompson has a nice squad over there. I don't care if he's got 5 or 6 players. The players that he does have on the court are outstanding players. So fourth quarter is going to be huge, Jeff. Obviously, it's going to determine the winner of the championship here, but this is where players are made and where they're not. Let's see what happens. Who's going to step up for the Flight and who's going to step up for Bowling Green?
And we do have our 2015 CBA Championship presentation following this game. Tim will run down on the floor to get you some post-game reactions from the winning team and hopefully the opposing coach. So we'll see how things goes. We're just 9 seconds into the fourth quarter and a 10-point advantage for Bowling Green. That's Zachary Payton on the trigger for Fort Wayne. As he's tried to force that pass to Wadner Joseph, Marquise Rudolph knocks it out of bounds. And Tim, a little bit discouraging, to start the fourth quarter off this way as the Flight were not able to shake their defenders off the inbounds pass. Yeah, there's no question about it. Coach Wilmot will come up with a different play, though, out of bounds. It's one of his specialties, a very good X's and O's coach. And he does. He gives it over to Antonio Cannon, who gets it into James Humphrey. Good hands by Kimberlin. With the spin, as Kimberlin steals it away. Pass a little bit behind Marquise Rudolph, but Kimberlin regroups. I'm telling you what, he can make a basket anywhere on the court, whether he's falling out of bounds, falling on his back. Kaylin Kimberlin is a special player. NAIA All-American as James Humphrey just lowers his head there, drives right through Chris Watson for the deuce. Good man move by Humphrey. I think Watson got his funny bone knocked a little bit right there. Not too funny at all. Side of the elbow. Definitely wake up some nerves. Rudolph, number 5, guard number 5. So that pass nearly got away from Deantra Scott. Now Rudolph wide open with a pump fake, drives, kicks out. Kimberlin, no good. Payton there with the rebound. Zach Payton, big boy down there for the Flight. Cannon, nice feed over there to James Humphrey, but Watson with a huge block. Now the lob pass intended for Demarius Smith, and Smith came down on that ankle, Tim. I think he rolled it. Yeah, he's in a lot of pain right now. There's no question about it. Yeah, if you've ever rolled an ankle, Tim, that's some pain for you. It does, especially if you get all your weight down on that as it's rolled. So yeah, I mean, that's a tough play. Hope the best for him there as the trainer's coming out to take a look. And Tim, that's one thing that came into play in week number 1 with Bowling Green, and it's something to figure out. If you got 7 players and then 3 of those foul out, you got to keep one guy in with those fouls. But every time the team fouls, then it's a technical, or? Yeah, I believe so. In the FIBA rules, that is the case. So something to keep an eye on as we're 8:44 left to play here in the fourth. Good sign there as Demarius Smith is able to walk off the floor under his own power. So that's good. A good sign there. And he's just going to keep walking to keep that ankle warm. They say, Tim, when you roll an ankle, the worst thing to do is to take off your sneaker. Yeah, take off the sneaker, then immediately it starts to swell up. So a lot of times athletic trainers won't even want you to take off the shoe, but sometimes it's necessary to get it wrapped. Catch and pop by Deantra Scott as he drains the 3. That was a huge play there by Scott. Nice looking 3 ball. And a 13-point advantage for Bowling Green. Antonio Cannon still looking to really catch fire here in this game. Pick set by Antonio Wilson, frees up some space. Defensive 3-second call against Bowling Green. Flight will get a free opportunity at a foul shot. So Cannon will shoot 1 in possession to Fort Wayne. And then that goes to another thing on how well these coaches prepare their players. I think this whole postseason we may saw 2 defensive 3 seconds, and they've both been in this game. So, great coaching is what I consider that to be. 8:22 left to play in the fourth. 12-point advantage right now for Bowling Green as Cannon pulls up and drains the 3-pointer. Tim, that can be the spark the team needs. Yeah, they need Cannon to have a huge fourth quarter if they want to have this championship reside in Fort Wayne. So a 9-point advantage right now for Bowling Green. Kimberlin cannot match, and Wadner Joseph gets the rebound. That's exactly what the Flight needed as they're looking to make a run here.
Yeah, that was Humphrey batting the ball, couldn't get to the rebound, tipped it right to his teammate and Joseph.
So Cannon, far wing, has Deantra Scott on him, just rises up for three and nails it. Back-to-back triples by Antonio Cannon as the Flight now pull within 6, 81-75.
Cannon can get hot. He is the 2014 MVP of the CBA, and that was due mostly to scoring. So hopefully that's a good sign for Coach Wilmot.
Watson top of the key, one-on-one with Antonio Wilson.
He's
Tough
so
take
good.
And finishes.
He is so good, Jeff.
83-75, 8-point lead for Bowling Green. Cannon retreats back. Now Kimberlin's on him as Deantra Scott was on him last time when he drained the triple. Humphrey does keep it alive. Good pass to Wadner Joseph. Down low with the reverse lay-in. Wadner Joseph.
That was a hard pass to handle by Joseph, but he wrapped his big paws around it up for a deuce. Pulled it within 5 now.
83-77 is your score as Terrace Clemens cannot finish.
Wilson's 10th rebound of the game. Cannon's going to pull up.
Cannon rises up, front rims. And Wadner Joseph knocked that one out of bounds, but a great hustle play there by number 9, as always.
That was a good shot. That was a good shot. A little heat check by Tone. I like that shot. Let's see where you at here. But yeah, huge 2 threes for Cannon to pull him back within 6. Right in, and all of a sudden you can see the heads raise a little bit. Flight's not thinking this game's over. They know they have a chance here now.
And Demarius Smith looks like he just got taped up that left ankle. We'll see if he can make it back out onto the floor for Bowling Green. But right now the Hornets in decent shape. 2 players with 4 fouls, 2 players with 3 fouls. But they're still fighting. They still got the lead. You know, it's only 6 points right now. Entering the 4th quarter, had a 10-point lead. We'll see how things shake out.
Yeah, this reminded me so much going into the 3rd quarter going into the 4th quarter as Bowling Green's semifinal game last night. And that's when in the 4th quarter, Bowling Green just jumped out to the huge lead, really put it on them. This time here, the Flight were up to the task, though. Didn't let it bother them too much. Couple big shots, and I can't mention it anymore. Zach Payton's minutes in this game has been huge for Coach Wilmot and the Flight.
And on the other end, Chris Watson still being able to do what he does with those 4 fouls. 3 fouls for Chris Watson as Eric Orr's one with 4 fouls. But wow, no doubt about it, Tim. What a great player is number 11, Chris Watson.
Yeah, he's playing himself into a contract these last 2 games, Jeff. I tell you what, there's got to be agents and teams all over this world that's got to see this film that we're going to put out, and they're going to know what he could bring to a squad.
Only 25 years old is Terrace Clemens with the hard take, tip to Antonio Cannon. Lance Williams thought maybe he would settle for a 3-point there, but Antonio Big T Wilson throws it down, 2-handed slam.
That was a good look by Williams. Bowling Green thought that Williams was going to chuck it there from 3 because that's what he does. Got the defender to come to him and saw the lob nice easily to Big T. Good defense.
Rudolph step back jumper from 16 feet's no good. So the Fly right now down by 4, 83-79. Cannon working off the pick set by Wilson, retreats back.
Cannon needs to take him to the cup right here.
Deantra Scott, and Cannon does exactly what Tim says. Terrace Clemens was there to wall him off, Tim.
Yeah, Clemens just up for the task right there. Strong gentleman.
Kalen Kimberlin on the other end trying to muscle through Wadner Joseph. Does end up getting the rebound. He's fouled by Antonio Wilson.
Kimberlin single-handedly right now, he is not going to let his team lose. You can see it in his eye. You can see it in his swag. There's no question about it. He's going to do everything in his power to have Bowling Green walk away with the championship here out of Mack Park.
You know, Tim, you got Wadner Joseph who plays the 3. Kalen Kimberlin can play the 1 or 2. But in my mind, if you're starting a football team, those might be the first 2 guys you look at.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Maybe put Watson out there at tight end or something as a 6'8", 6'8", 6'9" tight end. I could see that a little a la Jimmy Graham. But, yeah, it goes to show you the type of players we have here in the CBA and the athleticism, not only the athleticism, the skill set that these players have.
And that last foul was called on Lance Williams, not Antonio Wilson. So Kimberlin hits them both to extend that lead to 6 for Bowling Green.
Ford checks back in with Ford, Joe.
I look at Kimberlin and I'm thinking, wow, that'd be one heck of a strong safety or an undersized outside backer.
Yeah, he's a tough player, hard-nosed. And with the interview, we had a chance to hear him yesterday after the game, always talking about the team and what the team needs, nothing about himself.
Feed goes down to James Humphrey. On the block is Eric Orr with the flop, and Humphrey delivers.
Yeah, that's happened a couple times by Bowling Green, flopping, and you know, it's not the NBA, so you're not going to get fined, but that plays a part in the referee's mind, in my opinion.
But Kimberlin with the answer, Tim, is he's had so often in this game. Antonio Cannon on the other end trying to finish, and does. That's Antonio Cannon battling in the trees.
Cannon's 9th point here in the 4th quarter, Jeff. This is what they needed. Good hands by Williams.
Rudolph keeps it alive as Terrace Clemens regroups. 14 seconds on the shot clock. 4-point advantage for Bowling Green. Widener Joseph.
Good hands by Williams. Again, that's happened several times here tonight.
Antonio Wilson looking to feed it up to Williams. Pass is just a little bit short. Williams once again.
Yeah, just poking the ball away.
Quick hands, Tim, by number 13.
Got numbers.
Antonio Cannon does decide to take it himself. He gets past Clemens. Back-to-back buckets by number 5, Antonio Cannon, as it's a 2-point lead for Bowling Green. 87-85, 4:23 left to play.
Look at Coach Wilmot over there willing his team for a defensive stop. Look at him out on the floor. You got to love the young coach, former standout at Indiana University.
Marquise Rudolph trying to get around Lance Williams. Lance Williams has created 2 steals, Tim, in the past minute.
Yeah, just got a little aggressive right there. No big deal. That's all right. You'd rather be aggressive than not. After 2 of those, yeah, that's right now he's got Rudolph thinking a little bit about his dribble and how close he needs to keep him or it's going to get stolen. So Williams, if he didn't get that one, he's still playing a part in the offensive mind.
So each team with only 1 foul here in the 4th quarter.
Coach Wilmot's going to get a timeout.
Tim, you just looked out on the floor and it's like, whew, you put so much into these games. The scouting, the game planning, the getting the guys together for a pregame meal the night before. And Coach Wilmot, you can tell it's just so much work coming into this final 4 minutes and 7 seconds. Bowling Green's up by 2. Each one of these teams looking for their program's first CBA Championship, and that's bragging rights, you know, for the next 9 months until the start of the 2015 season. We'll see how things shake out, but woo, this is what you expect in a championship game. CBA really providing the excitement here.
Yeah, we got a bunch of lucky fans here sitting down in front of us here that's going to get to see this last 4 minutes in person. It's going to be an exciting 4 minutes. As you can see it on both sides. Coaches are both into the game. Players, I think the flight had finally clicked. They feed off Antonio Cannon, and once he started going a little bit, the rest of the team got going. But I still take it back to Zach Payton in the 3rd quarter. Without his play defensively and offensively, I think this game would have got away from the flight where they wouldn't have been able to come up this big. So Zach Payton, as I mentioned, midseason pickup for the flight, just a huge player for Coach Wilmot tonight.
Yeah, Tim, and you know, Zach Payton, that defense, it was coming against Kalen Kimberlin too. And we've talked about Kimberlin all weekend long as if he's the CBA MVP because he's playing like one. And Tim, with that defense, it was able to slow Kimberlin down enough to where the Flight were able to get back in this game. Now, Kalen Kimberlin's got the team's last 4 points, so he's regrouped. You know, he's back to the job at hand, but still, absolutely, being able to slow down number 4 has been a key.
Yeah, no question about it. Oh,
87-85. Deantra Scott, Kimberlin, far wing.
That was a nice out-of-bounds play set up by Coach Thompson. Just couldn't convert it.
And we saw that in week number 1, Tim, when Marquise Rudolph threw it off the inbound, a lob pass to Watson. It was spectacular, one of the best dunks all year.
Yeah, I think Watson grabbed it from the top of the backboard on that jam.
James Humphrey. Wider Joseph put back, but Antonio Wilson's there with the flush, and we're tied at 87.
What an answer from Coach Wilmot's Fort Wayne Flight. Are you kidding me? Could have hung their heads, could have went home, could have went in the locker room, not giving up.
Chris Watson now top of the key.
He's going to help. They need help on him.
And he switched him in midair, went from the left to the right, and just couldn't regroup enough to get a quality shot off.
Flight have a chance here to take the lead, Jeff.
3:07 on the game clock. 14 now on the shot clock. And Tim, you'll notice there, Antonio Cannon had to hurry to get over that timeline as it's 8 seconds. Humphrey with his length, rebounded by Wadner Joseph. And he'll head to the free throw line to shoot 2. Foul going to be called on Watson, which will be his 4th.
Now, Jeff, it is 87-87. It's still got 3 minutes to go, but overtime's a possibility. Or Watson with 4, Clemens with 3. Okay, this is going to be huge. Obviously, both teams want this to end in regulation, but keep an eye on that.
Well, it was a 10-point advantage for Bowling Green heading into the 4th, and now the Fly have it tied up at 87. Wadner Joseph looking to give Fort Wayne their first lead. Tim, you have to go all the way back to the first quarter. No, excuse me, you have to go back to the second quarter when the Flight took the lead back 34-32 after a James Humphrey dunk.
Yeah, as I said, Bowling Green, as of their semifinal game last night, pretty much been in control the whole game. Difference between last night and tonight, where the opposing team didn't give up today like the Flight, unlike last night.
So Watts misses the first of 2 free throws.
Huge free throw right here for Wadner Joseph.
Hits the second to give Fort Wayne the 1-point advantage, 88-87. Demarius Smith back into this game, Tim, this time for Terrace Clemens. Yeah, so Demarius Smith, he had to leave the game with the ankle injury. The Flight were down by 13 points at that point, Tim.
Yeah.
He's back in here with his team down by 1.
That's a huge, huge play.
Watson out to Kimberlin. Beautiful feed to Deantra Scott. 89-88. Bowling Green back on top. Cannon taking his time, getting over the timeline. Driving up against Watson.
Good block by Watson.
Deantra Scott on the other end finishes, so that's back-to-back assists from Kimberlin to Watson.
Wow, look at that. Smith coming back in the game, and all of a sudden they're back by 2. Nothing, one-on-one with him. Just I don't know if it's the feel for Bowling Green or what.
91-88 is the score, 1:57 on the game clock, and Watson's going to foul out there, as I don't think he was expecting Humphrey to maybe go up. I think he was expecting him to do a reverse there and just ran right through him.
Yeah, that looked more awkward than it was. That wasn't an intentional foul or anything to that case. That was just an awkward foul is all that is.
I feel like he was expecting James to go through, and James went up for the dunk and just got ran over. So huge, huge loss.
And that's his 5th. That's his 5th. He's going to be on the bench.
Orr's going to check in with 4 fouls.
Kind of curious here why they got Clemens on the bench. Just under 2 minutes to go. Leading scorer in the CBA, sitting on the pine here. Just under 2, down by or up by 2.
Clemens with only 3 fouls. James Humphrey did hit his last free throw. That was part of a 3-point play at the end of the 3rd quarter. So the first one is no good. 3-point advantage for the Hornets. Still just a one-possession game, but I'm sure Coach Wilmot would like that to be a 2-point lead.
Yeah, free throws are a huge part of the game of basketball. Fort Wayne's left about 6 or 7 points on the line. But big shot there by James.
Just like you said, Tim, shooting about 50% here in tonight's game, too, maybe a little over.
Yeah, see, the averages always average out here throughout the game.
So Kimberlin, top of the key, behind the back, finds Orr. Kimberlin, the general, has his shot blocked by James Humphrey. Smith out to Rudolph, now driving top of the key. Floater, no good. Humphrey with the board, 1:30 left to play. 2-point advantage for Bowling Green.
Couldn't ask for anything better, Jeff. Minute and a half, 2-point game, CBA Championship. Or is that he's going to foul out?
So Cannon draws the foul from Orr, finishes at the cup, and will look to give Fort Wayne back the lead at the free throw line.
That was Cannon's 13th point here in the fourth quarter, Jeff. So as we mentioned, if the Flight had a chance to get a lead here and to have a chance at this championship, that Cannon was going to have to blow up in the fourth quarter, and that's exactly what he's done.
So Terrace Clemens is back into the game for Orr as there's no more bench for Bowling Green. Watson and Orr both have fouled out. And Cannon does it, completes the 3-point play to give Fort Wayne the lead, 92-91. Marquise Rudolph being guarded by Lance Williams. Deantra Scott looking to drive on it. Big T Wilson just squeaks that one in there for number 8. Deantra Scott has his team's last 6 points and gives Bowling Green back the lead, 93-92.
Wow, yeah, you got to call something there on Clemens. He is battling, got his elbow up high. What are they going to call here? Double foul?
Clemens with 3 fouls right now, obviously does not want to pick up a 4th.
Yeah, because I think the Flight would be okay with a double foul there.
Are they not going to call a foul?
I think they just called a warning type thing, blow the whistle, let them know, hey, that's enough's enough type thing.
So Cannon with the inbounds. Had Joseph, but was looking down on the block, Tim. Now lobs it down to James Humphrey. Humphrey going to back down Terrace Clemens, and they're going to call pushing foul on number 3, Terrace Clemens.
And Clemens ain't going to win if he's going to bow up to the referee like that. You knew he was going to get a foul called right there. You knew it. You knew it with the way he reacted. So, Jeff, you asked me a little bit before about what he could add or take away. I think that's probably it right there. Slight and tighten that up a little bit where you don't have any negatives. Really, that's the only negative that I've seen out of Clemens' game. So 50 seconds to go right here. Humphrey at the line, though, Jeff.
And not to mention, Tim, we already saw that. We saw that in the first quarter. They don't want your palms on the back of the offensive player. Get the arm bar on there. Just don't push him in the back.
Yep. It's all right. Humphrey needs to hit this one here to tie the ball game up.
James consistently has been about 1 of 2 at the free throw line, so we'll hope he hits the second here to tie this game up at 93. Deantra Scott has been huge for Bowling Green down the stretch here. He is an all-CBA player, number 8, Deantra Scott. So Humphrey hits the second. We're tied at 93, 49 seconds left to play. Kimberlin quickly gets over the timeline, picked up by Antonio Cannon. Loose ball found its way to Scott. In the corner is Smith. Quick pass to Terrace Clemens. Pump fake elbow jumper is good by number 3, Terrace Clemens from 15 feet out.
His first 2 points of the fourth quarter, Jeff, came with 30 seconds to go in a tied ball game.
And Antonio Cannon responds at the other end, taking it hard to the cup. Fort Wayne ties it up at 95.
12 seconds on the shot.
Going to come down to the last second here. Kimberlin over to Deantra Scott. 5 seconds. 4. They're telling him, Scott, take it to the cup. In the lane, off the glass. Deantra Scott hits it at the buzzer to win this game for the Bowling Green Hornets. Deantra Scott has been absolutely fantastic here in the fourth quarter. Deantra Scott scoring 8 of his team's last 10 points. pulling off the victory at the buzzer, 97-95. What a game. Bowling Green with just 5 players left in this championship game win it with the guys they had on the floor, as Coach Nathan Thompson was telling Scott, drive it to the cup, drive it to the cup. There's only 6 seconds left. You're going to drive it to the cup. And he pulls up from 6 feet out and banks it in for the win. Your 2015 CBA champions are the Bowling Green Hornets, and doing it with a roster of 7 pretty much all season long. Tim's down on the floor where he's going to talk with Rod Wilmot, the head coach of the Fort Wayne Fly.
All right, Coach Wilmot, heartbreaking loss right there. As much what you put into your team and what they put into you, that's got to be a hard loss for you, man. Tell me what you're thinking.
You guys fought, man. We fought the whole season. I mean, it hurts, but I mean, just made tough shots. I mean, they made tough shots at the end, and then we just came up short. We just came up short.
Can you tell me a little bit about what your team means to you, what Benny Lewis and the Fort Wayne Fly mean to you as you a person, Coach Wilmot?
It means a lot. I mean, we worked hard, and it just sucks to come up short.
As you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Wilmot wears his emotion on his sleeves. We appreciate it. Good luck. Rest of the way.
And that is Coach Rod Wilmot down there. And I've said it all year long, the Fort Wayne Fly, it's more than just a team. They're like a family. Like I said, no one travels like the Fort Wayne Fly.
Standing here with the championship coach. Coach Thompson's got to feel good, yeah? Tell me about tonight's hard-fought battle.
It was a great game, one of the best I've seen, back and forth. We pushed the lead out, I think, to 10 or 12. We feel like if we could get it to 15 or 16, it would be hard for them to get back in it. But they made that run when they got to about 10 and got it down to 5, 6. They even went up late. But we really tried to put an emphasis on spreading the floor. I went to 5 out and attacked the basket. Finally got some cuts and some back doors because they started out shrinking the lane, which was tough on us. Our next adjustment was to 5 out and start cutting and stuff, and then they started switching everything. So then the back doors and the cuts and the screens were open. So it was just a process throughout the game. They would make an adjustment, we'd have to make an adjustment, but a great game. Back and forth, and you got to give Fort Wayne a lot of credit. They played hard and played well.
And not only them, you guys, you got to be very proud of your team. Extremely proud. Foul trouble, still battle through it. No, that's stuff you guys are used to, but still, it's a championship game. It's a whole different atmosphere. So tell me a little bit about what you feel your makeup on your team is and what made them get a championship.
We have a lot of strong-willed guys, a lot of hard workers. I'd say adding Chris late in the season made a huge difference. Not only is he a specimen of an athlete, but he's a great motivator and a cheerleader. I'm sure you saw him over on the sidelines cheering, and Eric did the same thing today. He came out, cheered for us, played good when he got in, did his role. But we just got a lot of guys that are grind, that are hungry to get somewhere. And I think we also used it on chip. I believe we were underdog all 3 games, which as a 2 seed, But anyway, we used that as motivation and came through. So it was good. Just a combination of things. We're very proud of them. Our situation is very unique in the sense that we come from a lot of different areas. We have a hard time practicing and getting together. So it's pretty much why you see a 4 out or a 5 out. It's more spread. Like to take advantage of everybody's talents and abilities, and which is why you saw a contrast of styles. We're a free-flowing, up-and-down team. Fort Wayne's a very set-oriented team, grinded out. And I think you saw both tempos throughout the game. And luckily, we just hit one more shot than they did.
And that's what it came down to, Coach, that one more shot. But from us, it's been a pleasure watching your team and the always limited-handed that you guys are. You always come out and battle, and your team's always ready, Coach. So it's got to be feel, and I congratulate you on winning this championship.
Thank you.
Have a good rest.
Right, thank you.
So we're getting ready here for the championship trophy presentation. President of the CBA, Wasim Morad. It looks like Tim's going to talk with Chris Watson down here.
Mr. Watson.
How you doing?
All right. Outstanding game. It seems like over these past 2 games and even going back to the first round, your game's kind of blossomed. I don't know if it was feeling more comfortable out on the court. Tell me, did something click in you or what happened?
It's really, I got to get a credit to my teammates and my coaches. They just told me to believe in myself and just go out and do what I do. And like just taking their advice and just trying to put my foot on the gas, just them giving me a chance. I really appreciate it. I got to get a credit to them. They told me to go and I went.
Tell me what this team means to you and your future, Coach Thompson, everybody. What does Chris Watson feel about your squad?
Family. Period.
That is all I needed right there. Congratulations. You're a champion.
Yes, sir.
Have a good time.
Yes, sir.
So we're getting ready for the championship trophy presentation.
As president of the Central Basketball Association, I would like to congratulate the 2015 CBA champions, the Bowling Green Hornets. But before we pass on the trophy, I'd just like to say thank you to Fort Wayne Parks and Rec, Mr. Benny Lewis, and the city of Fort Wayne for hosting the 2015 CBA tournament. I'd like to also congratulate the Fort Wayne Flight for a great performance, rallying from 13 down. Unfortunately, they came out on the losing end, but congratulations to the Fort Wayne Flight and the rest of the CBA. And here's the 2015 CBA trophy to the general manager and head coach of the Bowling Green Hornets, Nathan Thompson.
So there they are, the Bowling Green Hornets, the 2015 CBA champions. We went into the fourth quarter. Bowling Green was up 76-66. And like they said, had a 3-point lead after Deantra Scott hit a 3-pointer in the beginning of the fourth quarter to put Bowling Green up 81-68. From there, the Flight went on a 7-0 run as Antonio Cannon hit a free throw, then back-to-back 3-pointers to bring his team to within 8, 83-75. The Flight then used another 7-0 run led by Antonio Cannon, who had 2 layups and a dunk by Antonio Wilson, a free throw by Wadner Joseph, and that pulled Fort Wayne to within 1, 89-88. From there, it was back and forth until we were tied at 95. A jumper, beautiful jumper by Terrace Clemens, followed by another tough bucket by Antonio Cannon. But with 6 seconds left in this game, Deantra Scott on the wing decided to drive it in the lane where he pulled up for a 6-foot jumper and banked it in, as the Bowling Green Hornets win it at the buzzer, a true buzzer beater. Final score 97-95. For the Fort Wayne Flight, James Johnson finishes with 2 points, Reggie Lytle with 5. Dennis Williams with 2 points, Antonio Cannon with a team high, with 22 points, Zach Payton with 4, Ron Lucas with 5, Wadner Joseph with 15, James Humphrey with 29 points and 5 rebounds. Big T, Antonio Wilson, 8 points and 10 rebounds. Lance Williams with 3 points. For the 2015 CBA champions, they were led by Deantra Scott, who had the game-winning bucket and 23 points. Terrace Clemens with 21 points, Kalen Kimberlin with 20, Marquise Rudolph with 10, Chris Watson with 14, Eric Orr with 4 points for Bowling Green. Tim, what a championship game. What a 2015 playoffs just all the way around. It's been fantastic.
My goodness, and you can see it. Coach Wilmot kind of gives what the CBA is in a nutshell. How invested he is with his players and his players' future, along with Coach Thompson as well. But they take this so to heart. This is life to them. This is not just a game. This is life. This is about molding these men into being professionals. So I couldn't be prouder to be alongside this league. And what a battle. Fort Wayne not giving up, as Fort Wayne products are known not to do. But Bowling Green just had one more answer than the flight, as Coach Thompson mentioned. So, outstanding game, Jeff. We couldn't ask for a better season and a better postseason run by both teams.
You heard Chris Watson sum it up in one word: family. And Tim, when you look at the Fort Wayne Fly, obviously a lot of emotions with the young coach, Coach Rod Wilmot. But that's to be expected because his team is a team that travels to all these away games. It's not very common to where 80% of your roster are going to go from Fort Wayne to Chattanooga or go from Mississippi all the way up to Peoria. And the fact that his team continually makes the sacrifices to make sure that they're there for their coach, Rod Wilmot, their owner, Benny Lewis, just speaks to that organization. And the Bowling Green Hornets, to do this with a 6-man, 7-man roster week in and week out, it's just outstanding. It speaks to their coach, Nathan Thompson, who now is the second all-time winningest coach in CBA history with 13 wins, just behind Nathan Wilhite, the coach of Middle Tennessee, who won the CBA Championship last year and has 17 career wins in his 3 seasons with Middle Tennessee. But, just a great season overall in the CBA, and we're looking on improving things heading into the 2016 season. And really very excited to see which franchises step up and join the league. Indianapolis, South Bend, Knoxville, Dayton, this is Ohio, Columbus, Lima, Ohio, so many areas right now that you can branch into, and we're really just hoping we get a few more teams joining us in 2016 so we can really build upon what we've started and expand our reach.
Yeah, final thought for me here, Jeff. All the way down to Benny Lewis and the Parks and Rec and this building, to the players, to Carlin offered with us yesterday, to gentlemen coming up here. We've been welcomed, and the hospitality has been so awesome here in Fort Wayne with them hosting the whole CBA playoffs. So, that's what this city's for, and we're proud to be from here. And this has been a great thing here for Fort Wayne and these gentlemen here, mostly from Fort Wayne, on the flight. But I want to congratulate Bowling Green. They definitely made it happen. The game was not given to them. They took the game. So hats off to Coach Thompson, Watson, Clemens, Kimberlin, the whole squad. They did an outstanding job, and they deserve the championship, Jeff.
There's no doubt about it. Well, once again, my name is Jeff Mahoney. Tim Atkinson was bringing you the commentary today, and Jake Atkinson was on the camera. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like us on Facebook. Every single team's got a Facebook page along with the CBA. But definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel because we want to bring you more and more highlights, and we need the recognition. We need your views, your subscriptions to help make that happen as we grow and bring you more video and more content heading into the 2016 season. Once again, my name is Jeff Mahoney. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful night and a great rest of your week. Thanks again.